My name is Malcolm Heath. I'm 48 years old and I'm from Sydney, and my job is I'm assistant principal at a primary school. All right, so my hobbies, massive reader. I'm massively into Lego. I have a stupidly insane collection of Lego. I'm a walker, hiker, play volleyball, and I actually game create. So it's come from my obsession with Survivor, which has developed in primary schools. Then I have gone about actually starting a game for students. I've got a certain set of glasses. Every morning I have a pineapple juice with my breakfast. I have my pineapple juice glass. For dinner, I pretty much will have a soft drink, whether it be a Sprite Zero or something like this and whatever. It has its own different glass. I've created a stack of different puzzles over time, and I feel I'm pretty decent at those puzzles. Not just the ones I've created, but just in a general mindset out there. So I think when it comes into the game, depending on the sort of people that I'm playing with, I could have a valuable thing to offer. 3 words to describe myself. All right, I would start with saying that I'm a competitive individual. So it's not that I have to always win, but I always play to win. I am super analytical. Like, I spend all of my time, I love playing with stats and looking at data. I love reading newspaper articles, etc., and looking and go, okay, where's this person coming from? Where's that person coming? What's the point of view that's being used? And then the other one is I'm a completionist. So I'll give you an example at the moment. 20 months ago, I started, Top Rolling Stones magazine put out a top 500 albums of all time list that they've updated over time. I decided I was going to listen to every album on that list. I'm now sitting with 2 albums to go. So having worked through there, so if I set myself a challenge, then I will see it through. I'm not one to give up on a challenge. I call it the ungrateful driver. It's when you let the driver in and it's like, how hard is it just to go like a, thanks, it's all good. And so those people that just cut in and, or you've left a block for them or whatever, and then they can't give you a nice response. It's like, that's a bit of a peeve as well. I'll keep it simple. I have a fear of heights. Now, saying that, I've tried to challenge that. So I've actually jumped out of a plane. I've bungee jumped. I will take myself to the edge of a cliff or thing, but I find that when I'm in those situations, my body goes weak. It starts to shake and I can really feel it. There's no strong desire to be there. But I think the biggest weakness for me immediately going into the game is going to be my age. The fact is, I'm 48. I know the current season that's about to air has got 2 women that are around the 50 category there and whatever. But at the end of the day, I would expect that most of the contestants are going to be much younger than, not much older than my children. I'm consciously aware that that strategy at the beginning of the game is just about building some social bonds. Now, from what I do work-wise, I tend to see the natural leader comes out in me a lot of the time. I would love it if somebody in the tribe that I'm in has that feeling of they want to be the natural leader. If there is, I want to be the person by their right-hand side effectively. I want to be the voice in their ear in the early part of the game. I'm really good at empowering people and getting the best out of those. Now, that's a little bit of a challenge when you're only talking a short time frame, but if I can get that working a little bit, ultimately if we win challenges, I won't be sitting at Tribal Council, there's no chance to go early. If you last at least a certain amount of time, you're always going to be the hero of your own story. And if you last long enough, you're going to be the villain in somebody else's story. And then my view is that for the viewer, whether they perceive me or whoever as a hero or a villain is based on what they expect to see happen in the game of Survivor. I don't want to be in a situation where, let's say I'm in an alliance, there might be 4 or 5 people, but I am number 4 or 5. If I've played the game and I'm sitting there and I've just ridden with the 4 or 5 and I'm pecked off at 4 or 5 or whatever, I've stuffed up. Like, I didn't take the move when I wanted to. I'd rather take a risk at some point to further my own position if I'm in trouble than just be happy to go with the flow and think, oh, maybe I'll win the last immunity or last 2 immunities or something like that. So if you're going to remember me, maybe it was a great blindside, maybe on me, maybe I did it. 48-year-old males do pretty terribly on Survivor. I'll give you some names. Chet Welch, Jimmy Tarantino. Weird quirks. Yeah. You could speak to my family and say I've got some weird quirks.